Hi, I'm Sean, one half of the Printing Brothers, and we have committed to 3D printing and painting every single monster in the monster manual. What do you do when you're painting a model and you just hate how it's coming out? It looks absolutely terrible and you don't think there's any way you can salvage it. Well, that happened to me with this model that I'm painting today. Let me show you how I overcame it. This model is from Epic Miniatures on My Mini Factory, where they actually have a few different poses to choose from. This model is highly detailed and it was very fun to paint. You can check out the STL in the link in the description. Not a sponsor, by the way. In fact, we're not sponsored at all, so like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you want to support us. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers. We really appreciate it. Now let's get to the paint job. This model needed a bit of cleaning up after printing. It was missing a pincer, so Anthony printed another pincer and I glued it back on. After a bit more of cleanup, I was ready to prime. I'm priming in black because I'm going to zenithal highlight this model like a good little mini painter. I was feeling pretty confident at this point. I've done this to models countless times before this one and they've all turned out great. My plan going in is to use washes to tint the model brown. So that's exactly what I did. And I hated it. The white was still peeking through and it just didn't look good. What I probably should have done is started by basing it in a tan or brown, but I didn't and now it looks bad. And this is where the self-doubt starts. You ask yourself that negative question, am I a bad painter? Well, guess what? The best painters in the world make mistakes too. But that's okay. With mini painting especially, it's so easy to fix your mistakes. In this specific instance, I just went over the model with a tan base coat like I should have done originally. That's simple. I tried to get fancy with my paint job at the start when I should have just started simple. But it is fixed now and I can move on to more washes. The moral of the story here is that it's okay to mess up, especially when you're mini painting. In fact, I would say it's actually expected. If something doesn't look good, you can very easily paint over it, or you can even just strip off paint with water. It's really not that serious of a thing. When I paint models, I just slap colors on and then take a step back and see if it looks good. If I like it, I keep going. If I don't like it, I'll change it. Painting is trial and error. You have to try things to know if you're going to like them or not. If you're enjoying the video so far, we are committed to doing every monster in the monster manual. Subscribe, because I asked you to, and it would make me very happy if you would. Now as I continue to paint, let's dig into what makes the Ankheg cool. In a previous episode of this series, Anthony painted the aboleth. He initially thought that it was a big dumb monster made just for fighting. Turns out it had a lot more intelligence behind it that made it very interesting. The Ankheg is a big dumb monster made just for fighting. And when I say it's dumb, guys, this thing has a 1 intelligence, singular. A singular 1 intelligence. The lowest possible ability score possible, at least I think. I'm pretty sure you can't go to a 0, right? You'd probably just be dead at that point. Either way, let's dig in. Maybe we can find something cool lying beneath the surface. The Ankheg uses its 2 pincers. Remember the one that I glued on at the beginning? It uses those to burrow beneath the ground. When an Ankheg hunts, it sits just below the surface and waits for potential victims to wander over it. It has antennae that will alert it when its prey is in place, then it bursts from the ground and devours its target. One cool way I think you could use an Ankheg in your game would be to have a field that your party must cross that is known as an Ankheg hunting ground. It would be like crossing a minefield, but instead of mines, it's vicious giant insects. When Ankhegs burrow into the ground, they leave behind a partially collapsed tunnel. Another cool way I think you could use an Ankheg in your game would be to have the party explore Ankheg tunnels. In the tunnel, the party could find hatched eggs, bodies that have been mangled, and acid. They shoot acid also, by the way. The best monster encounters are the ones that tease the monster before you actually encounter it. Give clues to the party about what they might encounter. Allow them to make guesses, or even prepare for the upcoming fight. Now I'm starting to get close to the end of my paint job here, but something is definitely missing. It's very bland, it's desaturated. I wanted more color. This is where trial and error comes in. I'm going to try something and see if I like it. Since Ankhegs use acid, I decided to paint on acid splashes all across its body. I had no idea if this was going to look good or not. It was a risk. But again, that is painting. You know what? I think it turned out pretty cool. I started with a darker green and then slowly added in lighter greens mixed with yellow. And I think it looks pretty cool. And later on, whenever I do a varnish over the whole thing, I'm going to do a matte varnish over the entire model and then do a gloss varnish just on the acid splashes to make them look disgustingly viscous. Now let's take a look at the final paint job. Let me know what you think of my paint job and the Ankheg as a whole in the comments below. I'm happy with how this guy turned out. I think the acid adds much needed color to the piece. We have one more monster in the A's left, and that is the 𝐂𝐨𝐧𝐭𝐚𝐜, which Anthony will be painting in the next episode. Subscribe if you want to see us continue to tackle this challenge. Thanks for watching.